Welcome, everybody, to Entrepreneur Spotlight with Action Coach. I'm here with Hélène Rousse, who is I don't know what I call her. She's a pillar of the community. She's been doing this for 25 years, and she's got a heck of a library of credits to her name. Hélène, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, George. I'm really happy to be here. Definitely.
So we wanted to find out a little bit about what got you started in the business. Why did you decide to do something like this? I mean, first of all, tell us what it is.
Yes.
I don't want to give away anything. And then let's get into why you decided to get into such a challenging and competitive business.
Absolutely. I've been a casting director for, yes, as you said it, 25 years. But I just didn't get here by fluke. I started really young age, like at 14 years old. I told my parents, I want to be a model and actors. And in those days, they didn't know how, and they didn't know people. And anyway, I coaxed my dad to be able to pay some classes in those days. And then I went on to do some modeling and acting. And by the age of 21, I opened my first modeling and talent agency because I wanted to be busy in the field. And I opened at the Collège La Salle, the old building. That's when I started. And after a while, I took a partner, and a year later, he left with all the money.
Oh, no.
So that was my first experience. So the next year, what I did is I took some classes. I was teaching modeling and acting and doing some gigs for myself, being in films. And, I've done 3 years of radio. I was doing that on weekends. I was busy day, evenings, and weekends.
Oh, my.
I am still to this day, I think.
Okay.
Less, but...
I gotta pause. 21 years old, and you decide to not just work, you want to get into the business for yourself.
Yeah.
And so, okay, are your folks entrepreneurial? Like, where did you get that?
Well, it's a good question.
Bug.
Yes, my dad had a business called La Clinique du Meuble, and we all worked for my dad. Pretty much a lot of the people, we are 8 children in our family.
Oh, boy.
We all worked for my dad, but we all had our own business, except for my younger brother, who was a fireman. And so, yes, we've learned discipline. And when you're 8 children, there's a lot of dishes. And so
not afraid of work.
I admire my dad, I guess, as an entrepreneur. And he was a Capricorn like me. So I always wanted to be in business. I always knew what I wanted to do. And you just do a little corner, you turn a corner and you say, yeah, I'm just in the business. The entertainment business is my business. I guess I'm the only one in the family I'm like the Celine Dion of my family, way of speaking. I don't think. Just to be a modeling agency and a talent agency, kept my foot in the door of me doing stuff. But eventually it got so busy that I didn't have time to do any of that stuff. And I've done it already. So I just concentrated, and I reopened. I reopened, and that was called Interglobe at that time. Very funny name. But after that, I did a partnership with McDonald Richards in New York, and so we would have a modeling agency in New York, Montreal, and then I went to open in Paris for a little while. And then we would, turn the models, and it was good at the time, but the name was too English. And it didn't work that well. So I decided to change the name and separate myself with the partners in New York and open under Focus International. And my office was right on St. Catherine and Stanley.
Wow.
5th floor. I had like the big letters on the wall. I had 12 employees. It was like the big time. I had a modeling division, acting division. I had an acting school. I had a voice division. And in those days, first of all, there was no computer. And everybody was sending their voice demos. It was tapes. So imagine how expensive that was, and every actor had to send their headshots and resume, everything had to be printed or recorded. So it was more expensive, but the courier industry made a lot of money because they had to ship everything. We didn't have MP3s, we didn't have internet. And then when internet came and the computer, my secretary was like, you mean I have to type this? But how do I erase it? Do I put liquid paper on the screen? No, Suzanne.
So let me ask you a question. I would imagine your business is, I mean, back, even today, most businesses are dominated by men. So what were some of the challenges that you faced? You're 21 years old, you're breaking into an industry, you're breaking into a male dominated industry. What were some of the challenges that you faced doing that at such a young age?
Actually, I didn't feel it much.
Okay.
Because most modeling agencies or being a casting director, it's 98% women.
Oh,
I didn't feel the blunt of it, but I was part of all different associations. And so for me, it was mainly, I guess I felt it more as a casting director now. Sometimes I do feel it only when I work with Asia or when it's more misogynist and
mm-hmm.
sometimes they prefer speaking to a man, so I'll just take my assistant. But I really never felt it. I'm very confident. You get hit a couple times in the back. I did. And that's why I decided to change the name after to Focus International so I can focus and really go forward. But after, almost 10 years, one of my assistant that I hired not too long ago, this girl left with most of my actors and I had to rebuild again and then sell the company. That was the last blunt, really. I said, okay, that's enough. I'm going to take a year off. My mom died at the same time. While my mom was at a hospital, her and her mother went in and stole everything. They stole the actors, they stole files,
Wow.
and I took them to court. But I mean,
And you,
it's
is this the same person you talked about that took all your money? Is this the same
no, that's the
situation?
second. No, that's the second blow.
Wow.
I
Okay.
had a third
So,
blow as well, but yeah. So basically, George, it's all about how you get back on your feet.
hmm,
It's called perseverance, and in my case, it's called resilience.
hmm.
And you get hit, you get hit. I don't think I have enough space in my back because I got stabbed a couple times. But I wrote a book about it, which should come out in 2025, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
Courtière de rêve, and in English, it's Dream Trader.
Hmm.
Because I make dreams come true for people who wants to get in the business. That it be a role, that it be extra work, that it be to do voice work all over the world, or be featured somewhere, to be hosting something. So that's basically what I am, and it's just to keep the courage and just go forward and be able to manifest what you want. After a while, you learn your lessons. I was a bit naive then, business and everything, but you learn and you get better at it.
I don't think there's any entrepreneur, I don't think there's any business out there that hasn't faced something like what you're talking about. So let's talk a little bit about, if you could go back in time, what would you have changed about the way you were doing things that might have led to a different outcome in terms of, the people that you had around you? Some of them obviously were great. Obviously you wouldn't have had the success you have if you didn't have a lot of amazing people around you. But what do you think, as an advice for younger entrepreneurs, what do you think you would say to them in terms of being able to kind of insulate yourself or protect yourself from that kind of damage, if you will?
It is the people around us sometimes that does that. Unfortunately, you can't do all of a background check necessarily because some of them are young and they might not have something. And at one point they turn. And
Mm.
sometimes you have to see that people are envious and they want what you have. And so to learn to protect yourself, I've learned that you're going to lose some, you're going to win some.
Mm.
And even if you want to trust, there's always going to be something, unfortunately. So I left a percentage. I know I'm being stolen, let's say for certain people or employees or whatnot, but I accept the percentage of that is going to happen no matter what, because it's some of the nature of people,
So you consider it a cost of doing business?
I do.
Okay.
I
So
do.
I guess now you've learned to factor that into your business. You know that
Yes.
there's going to be a percentage of loss, and you need to make sure that you can accommodate that.
I think even like a big store, must put that in their business. I mean, obviously,
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
always a percentage there, or even a client who doesn't pay,
Hmm.
that's part of some of the losses
You're
that
right.
you get to accept. If 98% of the time, 99% your client pays, then it's okay. But sometimes you get a bad apple and you got to move on
Yeah.
and, pull up your sleeves and just go for it. And if you have confidence that you're going to go forward, always confidence in, for me, it's the energy, I have confidence in the energy and manifestation. And sometimes it doesn't always go my way because other people have manifestations.
But I like the idea of I think there's a very practical lesson in the idea that you factor in these types of setbacks, if you will, as part of your business planning. And you use the example of retail. You're right. Retail has shrinkage, there's loss, and you've got to factor that in. And in business, there's bankruptcies that happen. You have customers that go bankrupt. You have suppliers that go bankrupt. These things, you have to plan for these things and make sure that you've got a buffer that allows you to continue operating in the event that these things happen.
Yeah, you try to contain as much as possible. Some people put cameras or whatever. I mean, whatever works for you, then you can take the precautions.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to think that people surrounding me are good and honest and everything, but there's always a percentage that it might turn against me also.
All right, so let's flip the question. What have you learned to do? I mean, you're in the business of people. You talked about, helping people achieve their dreams. It's a very personal, it's a very emotional
Yes.
journey. How do you build loyalty with the people that you have working with you? The actors and actresses, I guess we don't say that anymore, right? We say actors, period. The actors that are putting their trust in you, how do you maintain and develop that trust so they do stay loyal to your company and your services?
Well, when I was an agent, that was something else. That's why I'm not an agent anymore. Um, it's a bit an ungrateful business to be an agent, or people don't pay their commissions, or they leave you and go somewhere else after you've done a lot of work. Um, I'm right beside the hospital. So, but now as a casting director, I mean, I don't need them to be loyal.
Mm,
And I mean, I book, thousands of people every year, and I'll get maybe one card at Christmas or something. So it's not, but I don't represent them, but people sometimes they don't know how to gratify, I would say, or say thank you in the
wow.
right way. And
Wow.
it's the
Sounds
business
like
I'm
you have to
at.
learn how to sounds like you have to learn how to give yourself that pat on the back for doing a good job.
George, I'm not looking for anything like that anymore. It is what it is. I'm happy. I love what I do. I really enjoy it. I work sideways on other things. I'm writing a sci-fi feature film. I'm writing other things in project. I have other projects on the side that are all related to the field, which is great. But I love casting. We one great achievement that we had last year is that the feature documentary Fire of Love was nominated at the Oscars.
Wow.
So the people that we booked, the voices that we booked in there were also in the Oscars. So for us, it was a great achievement to be there. So we did a big party with mini Oscars and everything for everybody.
Nice.
And
That's
it was love.
great.
So you achieve certain milestones and it's great, and every project is different and so exciting, from web series to booking stars only, to booking 300 extras yesterday, to finding voices in multiple languages for companies that want to translate, adapt, and record. Because I don't have a casting agency only, but I have a recording studio and a dubbing house, so we can dub all the different videos for whoever needs it, and it's a lot of fun.
So I'm hearing a few things. I'm hearing diversification. You decided, one of the things to make your business more secure was to diversify. It sounds like you're kind of a one-stop shop right now for people in your industry. So that's an amazing strategy to protect your business and to offer more value to your clients after all these years in business. I'm sure you've got a stable of people that look to you for providing these services, and you said, hey, you need this too, you need that too, you need this too, well, I can do it for you, I'll put it together.
Well said. Yes, one-stop shop for sure.
Yeah.
We can cast it, dub it, pay it, ship it. That I should use that. This is really
Sounds like a slogan. So that's a lesson. I think that's a great lesson. Sometimes when you're doing your business plan, you're doing your business planning, you need to listen to what your clients are asking you for, and then build that into your long-term planning to be able to make sure that you hold your clients. Instead of spending a lot of energy looking for new clients, you expand how you serve your existing clients.
Yes, absolutely. We like to serve them. We want to make sure they're happy. Our motto is we find the impossible. So that'd be a little person, a big person, a giant, a sumo, host. We always find what you're looking for.
So you're based here in Quebec. Have you always branched out or worked in other markets? You talked about, you were in Europe for the modeling, but I'm assuming that in the acting, you're also active in other markets.
Yes, we cast in Toronto for some projects. We've done a few video games because we also specialize in voicing video games and adapting. We've worked, I did some casting in New York, some casting in France. I've done casting for Star for LA because he needed a French accent, so they called me. But in general market, it's the Quebec Canadian market. Sometimes we do big search all over Canada, depending what kind of show it is. It really depends the research and the budget of the casting that the client would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we did also another big casting for Blizzard Entertainment to find a voice. It was very specific. We were casting anywhere. Like we have another video game coming. We can cast people from anywhere in the world. If they have a good studio, they can do their voice.
Wow. Yeah, that's the beauty of technology now, that
Yeah.
it's really mobile. People don't have to move around like they used to. Now they can work almost from anywhere and get it done. I'm interested to know, I mean, this is kind of me personally, when you see some of these movies that are dubbed in different languages, how do they, like, you think of an action star, like on your website, I noticed you had one of Jason Statham's movies. How do they match a voice to the actor? Let's say obviously Jason doesn't speak French. So how do they get a French person to sound like Jason, or they don't care about that? They just put the voice on.
They leave it to the dubbing company to select the voices. They usually don't get part into. So we do auditions and with some lines, just like a video game. And if we think the voice, the age of the voice fits the character, then we'll hire those actors and they can come in and we can dub it. We've been dubbing a lot of animated series for kids in English, in French from France, and French from Quebec.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
very cool. It plays on a Saturday morning. I think it's on APTN or yeah, it's very nice. It's really fun to be part of those projects. Are very exciting to get adults to do kids' voices, and we have a great time. I've got a few technicians that works in our two studios, so
I'm sure technology has impacted your business like so many other businesses. I noticed when I was doing the research that you mentioned a few specific software tools that you use. How has technology impacted you, or how have you leveraged technology to improve your business and improve the quality of the product that you produce?
I always embrace technology. I love technology. It is there to help. People can send their voice edition or self tapes that now and in a matter of seconds. We can do casting much faster. People can be on a trip and be able to do their audition and send it, so they don't miss opportunities. So it gave a lot more opportunities to actors to be able to send their self-tapes. Unfortunately, there's very rare opportunities to audition in person now and then since COVID. It changed everything. It saves us a lot of time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, we can give the audition tapes to the producer really fast, and they can view, and then we put that on the drive, and you can be anywhere in the world, look at the drive, you're in Asia, and you can watch the auditions. It's just wonderful. And
Mm.
we had a lot of demands lately for AI voices. So we've been doing a few. It's a lot of hours to record for AI because they want to learn, the machine wants to learn. So we need to supply some people in different languages and a multitude of people.
Mm.
We just took a little bit because it's a long hours, it's a lot of work. And I mean, some contracts they pay, if they're going to use their voice, they can pay up to $100,000.
Wow.
It'll take a couple months to record all the voices, and some will pay $1,500, some will pay 500. I don't know. It really depends on each project, but it's
Yeah.
interesting.
I love the idea that a lot of people in the arts fear technology, and when when we had the actor strike and all that stuff, and I hear from you that you're saying, well, it's inevitable. The technology's coming. We're not going to get away from it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out a way to make it work in my business. I'm going to make it work for me.
Yes, there's even tools right now that can sort of dub your series, but it needs a lot of tweaking. People are not using it at the moment. Plus, you know, the machine can do some emotions, but it will never beat the human.
Mm.
That's why a lot of those dubbing that we do, even for kids, I mean, there's so many expressions that you can do that you can't give that to a machine. For
Hopefully.
now,
Yeah. I don't want to see an AI version of me anytime soon. So that's
you
fine.
know, I mean, we're trying to keep our posts as long as possible, because really, eventually, it's going to kill that business for me, right?
Mm.
And a lot of actors.
Maybe you'll become an AI casting director.
Haha.
You can create a stable of actors that are AI versions of actors. That's amazing. So what would you, if you had advice for young entrepreneurs getting into business today? You're obviously very, very active in the business world. So given what you've learned, what would, let's say you had a 20-year-old child and they're going to get into business, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them as far as making it work?
Yes, I even wrote a mini book about that called Get Off Your Tush on Amazon.
I love it.
Yes. In French, it's called Bouge tes fesses.
Oh yeah.
So, yes, for me, you know, I went to school with the nuns. So discipline, discipline, discipline. Agenda.
Mm.
A little bit of what acting coach teaches as well. I use stickers to follow on my agenda. I still have a paper agenda as well as a digital, but I gribble a lot. So I like to have an agenda so I can see my week in one shot. And it's called organization, discipline, and not be afraid to work at night as well. And reach deadlines. And I use a to-do list all the time, and I check mark. I'm a to-do list girl, and that's the way I do it, and I love that, and I really achieve to do a lot of things. People ask me, how do you do all of these businesses? Because I got 3-4 businesses, and the books and this and that. And well, it's all about putting your mind to it, and reaching that goal, and really project. Yes, you got your 90 days, but you got your 1 year and 5 years and so on. So reaching your goals and checking and getting steps and steps and getting always closer and closer to your goals, and you will reach your dreams, because
I love it.
nothing is impossible.
Yeah, I love it. What's next for you? So, you clearly are ambitious. What can we, I mean, you've got books coming out. What's the big thing happening for you in 2025?
Two things. One is I'm promoting an invention that I did for cats and dogs.
Oh, wow. Like,
It's
is there anything you don't do?
yeah, I'm a yes, it's called pethold.com.
Oh, wow.
It's a structure to hold your animal while you groom it
My
and
goodness.
cut their nails. But really, I am going in 2 weeks. I'm going to Toronto for the Content Canada event, so I can sell my sci-fi series, and also I've got a comedy series that I want to sell.
Wow.
So I'm meeting the Netflix, the Amazon, of this world. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going with my production company also to put those films together, and we have films, we have series, and we have a new division now that we're preparing some immersive experiences.
Oh, wow.
So very excited.
Wow. This is, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know when you sleep, but it's amazing. It's great to see how somebody who understands that if you organize, your time, you organize your priorities, you can get a lot done. You
Done.
can
Yeah.
get things done. And the tools that you talk about, having a calendar, having an agenda, having your priorities, making sure you have the discipline to follow the steps. I'm sure someone as busy as you are has to say no a lot to things that aren't part of your priority list, aren't part of your agenda. And I'm sure that's a big part in giving you the time you need to get the things that you want to get done accomplished.
Yeah, there's so many hours in the day, so you need to divide your apple tart. You have business, friends, hobbies, sports, this. So it's really divided. Everything needs to be balanced. Everything in life is about balance.
Yeah.
And if you do that and you have a good equilibrium, then you can do a lot. But health first, for sure. Good sleep is really important. I really need my sleep, and then just to be disciplined and organized. Yes, absolutely.
Well, this has been amazing. I really enjoyed this conversation. There's a lot of nuggets that entrepreneurs can take away from this. We wish you the best of luck in your endeavors in Toronto and in Hollywood and London and wherever you end up landing with your projects. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show, and maybe there'll be another one coming soon.
Who knows? Great energy. Thank you so much.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it.